Welcome back to the courtroom, jurors. Today's case asks a brutal question. When family betrays you, are you still obligated to show up and smile? Because when this man refused to attend his own sister's wedding, Reddit had very strong opinions, and not everyone agreed on who was actually in the wrong. The man at the center of this case is 34 years old, quiet by nature, not dramatic, not confrontational. He's always been the easy one in his family, the one who doesn't rock the boat, doesn't argue, doesn't demand attention. His younger sister, Emily, is the opposite. She's outgoing, opinionated, and has always had a talent for making everything about her. Birthdays, holidays, even other people's milestones. Growing up, the family joked that Emily was just passionate. But as adults, that passion turned into something sharper. This all started 3 years ago, when the man introduced his then-girlfriend Laura to the family. They were serious, talking marriage, talking kids, and for the first time in his life, he felt like he was building something solid. But from the very beginning, Emily didn't like Laura. She never said anything directly. Instead, it came out sideways. Jokes, comments, raised eyebrows. She's quiet, isn't she? Are you sure she's not using you? I just don't think she's right for you. At first, he brushed it off. That's just Emily being Emily. But the comments didn't stop. At family dinners, Emily would bring up Laura's job in a way that sounded like concern, but felt like judgment. She'd ask pointed questions about money, about timelines, about whether Laura was really committed. Laura noticed. She tried to be polite, tried to fit in, tried not to make waves, but behind closed doors, she told him it hurt. She talks about me like I'm not even there. He promised he'd handle it. He didn't, and that's something Reddit would later not let him forget. Then came the breaking point. At a family barbecue, after a few drinks, Emily said, loudly, that Laura was probably only dating him because she was running out of options. The table went silent. Laura excused herself to the bathroom. She didn't come back. That night she cried, and something in their relationship cracked. A month later, Laura ended things. She said she couldn't see a future where she was constantly being judged, sidelined, or disrespected, especially by his family, and the part that hurt the most? He never really defended me. He tried to fix it, tried to talk to Emily. Emily brushed it off. I was just being honest. You're too sensitive. The family agreed. That was the first time he realized something uncomfortable. His pain was invisible to them. Life moved on. Emily got engaged a year later. Wedding planning took over the family group chat. And then, the invitation arrived. When he opened the envelope, he didn't feel excitement. He felt anger. Not loud anger. Quiet anger. The kind that sits in your chest and reminds you of every moment you swallowed your feelings to keep the peace. He thought about Laura, about what could have been, about how no one ever apologized. So he made a decision. He told his parents he wouldn't be attending the wedding. No drama, no long speech, just, I don't feel comfortable celebrating someone who played a role in ending my relationship and never took responsibility. The reaction was immediate. His parents accused him of holding grudges. Emily called him selfish. Relatives said he was ruining a once-in-a-lifetime moment. Emily sent one final message. So you're really choosing your feelings over my wedding? And that's when he turned to Reddit. Reddit exploded. Some commenters were firmly on his side. You're not obligated to celebrate someone who hurt you. Family doesn't get a free pass to be cruel. This isn't about the wedding. It's about accountability. Others weren't so kind. You stayed silent back then. You don't get to punish her now. Skipping the wedding won't heal anything. You're making her wedding about you. Then came the deeper takes. People called out the family dynamic, the favoritism, the pattern of excusing bad behavior to avoid conflict. One comment stood out. This is what happens when the easy child finally says no. But then something unexpected happened. Emily reached out again. This time, different tone. She asked to meet, and for the first time ever, she admitted she might have gone too far. But she still wanted him at the wedding. Now he had a choice: stand his ground, or show up and reopen old wounds. In the end, he didn't go, not out of spite, but clarity. He sent a message wishing her well. He stayed home, and for the first time in years, he felt oddly peaceful. The family fallout was real. Some relatives stopped talking to him. Others quietly admitted they understood. Emily? She hasn't reached out since. But Reddit's final verdict was clear. Not the a-hole. Because boundaries aren't punishments, and refusing to pretend everything is fine isn't cruelty. But Reddit wasn't finished with this case. Not even close. Because once the story gained traction, a second debate started. One that had nothing to do with weddings and everything to do with family roles. A new wave of commenters focused on something deeper. They weren't judging the wedding decision anymore. They were judging the family system. One highly upvoted comment read, "This isn't about skipping a wedding. This is about a family that always expects one person to absorb the damage." Others quickly agreed. They pointed out how often families label one child as dramatic and another as easy, and how the easy one is expected to bend forever. Another commenter wrote, "The moment he finally says no, suddenly he's the problem." That comment alone sparked hundreds of replies. So let's slow this down, jurors, because this case raises a quiet but uncomfortable question. Do you owe loyalty to people who never showed it to you? Reddit jurors argued both sides. Some believed he should have addressed the issue years earlier, when Laura was still around. Others said silence doesn't cancel pain. One user summed it up like this: "You don't get unlimited chances to hurt someone just because time passed." Several commenters shared similar experiences. Siblings who mocked their partners, parents who excused bad behavior, families who valued peace over fairness. One story stood out. A commenter wrote, "I went to the wedding, I smiled, I played nice, and 10 years later, I still regret choosing their comfort over my own." That comment didn't attack anyone. It simply lingered. A few days later, the man added a final update. He said skipping the wedding wasn't easy. He missed seeing relatives. He felt guilty. He questioned himself constantly, but he also said something important. "For the first time, I didn't abandon myself to keep others comfortable." Reddit noticed that line immediately. It became a turning point in the thread. Sometimes setting a boundary doesn't look like yelling or confrontation. Sometimes it looks like staying home. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is disappoint people who are used to you saying yes. So jurors, was this about holding a grudge? Or was it about finally choosing self-respect? Let me know in the comments. Court is adjourned. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, be sure to hit like and subscribe.